Okay. Turning point. 2025. There's something I got to address. Now, I know there's more than a few people who did not like the live show yesterday. And I'm somewhere in between. What did we really get? Is it something that's really great? Or, like I'm thinking, you just did short-term gain with a big question, can you gain something long-term? Compared to what happened with AEW and this Dynamite, with Blood and Guts, that literally felt like in Vince McMahon booking. And I know one of you said, dude, the show was good. Come on, bro. No. That was a short-term gain, long-term loss in Blood and Guts. It is not about the match qualities that was going on. It's about how the stories will go forward, and they don't look like they will. That was the problem with Dynamite's Blood and Guts. Now, when we looked at Impact, the live show that we've been waiting for the last 4 weeks. 4 weeks, you guys. 4. No content for a month. We finally see Santana. We finally see people. And then we get that ending the way we did. And we wonder, what was this? This feels like a short-term gain. Like it's supposed to be shock value. But the question, like I posed, is this going to give a long-term gain? Because it's a short-term shock to the system, as the system says. But will this give us something long-term? Well, look at what we got here in Turning Point. You still got the same questions, but now with different people involved in it. Opening. M versus Kiana Jordan. I'm going to be honest here. I don't hate M. She's not a bad wrestler. But do you care about M when there's been no build for the last 4 weeks? This is what the running theme of this entire TNA Plus show. There's no build. We've had nothing for the last month. And that's the major issue we have in this show. And I'll keep repeating it. No build for the last month because there's been no show. So we look at M. And we already saw Heather, who, let's be honest, who is the better match technician between Heather and M? It's Heather. Heather's a better wrestler than M. Not saying M is a bad wrestler, but Heather is better. She just is. But when you see this match, which is alright, it was a fine match. There was no problem with it. And Kiani won. I'm not surprised she is her. I'm going to say this now. Yes, I'm going into WWE at this moment. But because she works in TNA and NXT, we're going to have her eventually become the moniker. She is her. Just like her boyfriend, who's going to be her fiance. I think they're already a fiance right now. I think they are fiancés at this point. There is him, and there's going to be her. And sooner or later, you're going to see them on the main roster together, either on different shows or the same show. Him and her will be together. It's going to happen. But that's who she is. She's building that brand of she is now going to be her. Not bad. It works in TNA. It also works in NXT. And it should work on the main roster. It should work. But when you look at this situation, her going against Heather and M, she built it up in NXT, but there has not been no M. There has not been no Heather. There has not been no concierge. Barely at all. We've not seen anyone from TNA in a month. So it does not help. Yes, we did see him this Tuesday. Yes. Setting up the match. Yes, there's no problem with it. But we'd had almost a month of nothing else. That one sighting of the concierge. So it feels blank. Moving on. BDE versus AJ Francis. Now, he's a YouTuber. He's a streamer. Do I care? No. He's been working for about a year at least. I think about a year or a year at least. As a pro wrestler, as well as being a streamer and a YouTuber. Do I care? No. This is his debut on TNA. Is he signed? I don't know. He probably is going to be signed. They want to have an influencer in TNA because it would help them a lot. And since they already did something with Logan Paul, who's also a YouTuber, probably Silva thought, Carlos Silva, hey, look what has happened with Bad Bunny. Look what's happened with Logan Paul. They struck gold. Look at Jelly Roll. They struck gold. People have interest in them. Let's get one of our own. And it's somebody who legitimately wants to become a pro wrestler. I can't tell you if it's going to work or not. Not until he's on the main roster, and not until he's given a storyline to prove that he can do the damn work. That's the deal. Did he look alright in the match? It wasn't bad. But I did not expect AJ to just roll over him. He's a skinny ass man. A little bit thicker than... He's more muscle than me. Let's make it clear. I'm an old man with a belly a little bit due to the fact I can't exercise the way I want. And I'm old. That kind of goes along with it. It's kind of hard to keep yourself in shape. But I'm a guy who has a messed up leg and back and can't exercise the way he should. So I'm going to have a bit of a belly. So he looks good. But does that mean it'll work? Don't know. I have no clue. So here's the deal. Until he's on the roster, until he's doing work, I have no feeling towards BDE at all. I don't have no feeling towards him. I can't say he's good. I can't say he's bad. I've had one moment to see him. One. And that's not enough of an impression for me personally. Let him be on the main roster for a while. Give him something to do. And then I can give him an attitude or praise. There you go. Next. Indy Hartwell versus Dani Luna. Now, Indy was out for 2 months because she got screwed in September and got injured, supposedly. Now here we go again, where there's been no build. None. We had 2 Fade to Blacks. We had 1 Hardy Party, which was for Hallows Eve. You see I'm botching here. And then Open Fight Night. There was nothing. So we get this match that's 2 months overdue with no build. And I'm like, why do I care? Why do I care about Indy going against Dani when there's been nothing for 2 months? And 1 month of no build for Dani. No build when she was dealing with Jody Threat. If you remember correctly, Dani and Jody Threat have beef. But we now have Indy and Dani. What happened to Jody first? Jody was pissed as hell from the last time we were around each other. 1 whole month of nothing. So now we get this match with a no DQ because yesterday in the live show, Indy got pissed because Dani brought in a chair, but Dani didn't use the chair. It was Indy who used the chair. And we had this match, which was okay. It wasn't a bad no DQ match. I didn't hate it. But it still feels empty. No build. Again, an okay match, but no build because of 1 month of no content. Let's move on to the match I legitimately felt made no sense. That is a triple threat for the Knockouts Tag Championships. The Inspiration, who are holding the titles. You had the Angels, what was it? The Angel Warriors. And then you don't have Victoria with Tessa Blanchard. She came out dressed to kill. And she says, I'm not medically cleared. So, what is it? Mira Moore. They showed her on TNA yesterday. So they show her here today. I don't know what happened to Tessa. But I could take an idea. It could have been, and I'm not saying it is, if she did not get injured around Bound for Glory when she went up against Gia. The only thing I could think of would be for her to have the problem of her implants. That's a possibility because as you already know, I already made a video on this, Tessa decided to get some implants. She's not going like this. She just wanted something modest, a little more than what she had. And there ain't nothing wrong with that. I don't got no problem with Tessa wanting to be a little more than what she was before, as long as she owns it. But maybe that might have been the issue, that she hasn't recovered correctly and there might be some type of complication. I'm not saying it is. I'm not. That could still be an issue, though, when you get them. There could be a complication, and you got to get some type of correction. But that could be something else. Maybe she actually did get hurt. Maybe there might be something entirely different. We don't know. But she couldn't wrestle, and Mira Moore took her place. And here's the thing. The only ones that made any sense to take those titles was Victoria and Tessa. They seemed to be the most charismatic and the most interesting of all three women. Now, you could have given it to the Angel Warriors. I think maybe it would have worked, but honestly, no. And here's the thing. This is what I think would have been better and should have happened. What happened to Hudson and Grace? You guys tell me below. And someone did tell me. They told me on last night's Impact, they were there sitting back. If Tessa could not participate, why not take out Victoria and insert Hudson and Moore? If they weren't going to win, that wouldn't have been a problem. At least we would have seen them. Let me make this very clear. I'm sure people are going to say, you're nitpicking. No, I'm not. We got women on the roster. We now got 4 new women on the roster. Moore is one of them. And then you see that's Hudson, you got Grace, and the other woman. I think her name is Stryker. I don't know her name. I forgot. But essentially, you got 4 women on the roster. You barely have seen Grace and Hudson at all in the last couple of months. They've been, an explosion, I believe. You have not seen them on TV much at all. Wouldn't it have been nice that you take out Victoria and put in Grace and you put in Hudson? Victoria, don't worry, she's going to be seen on the rest of the show. But here, I would have rather seen Grace and I'd rather see Hudson because we have not seen them for at least a month or 2 easily. Or 3 months. Because there was no content. Again, no content last month. 4 weeks of no content. 4 weeks. 4 weeks. I'm going to keep saying it no matter if you like it or not. Next, the System versus the Rascal with Desmond Alexander back. That's what Mackenzie said. Don't think I got that mixed up. I didn't. Mackenzie got him mixed up with Cedric Alexander. She did not say Desmond Xavier. She said Desmond Alexander. And it was the commentary team on the mic having to correct for her, saying it's Desmond Xavier, like Professor X. It happens once in a while. Someone will make a mistake. It does happen. It doesn't make her a bad person. Just she screwed up. But was it good to see Desmond Xavier, Dizzy back? Yeah. I'm not going to lie. I'm glad to see him back in TNA. Does it mean he's going to stay? I don't know. He may go to AEW just like Ace Austin did. You never know. And what is Ace doing on AEW TV? Do I need to give you some time to think? I'm giving you some time. I'm winding my watch. I think my watch stopped. He's doing nothing. Why did he leave? Why? I mean, yeah, he's going to get more money. Let's make it clear. He's going to get more money. He's going to get a lot more money than he was getting in TNA. In AEW, he's going to get maybe a 50% increase in money. There's no lie about that. I'm sure he's getting good money. He's getting way more money than he did in TNA. He was loyal to TNA. He loved TNA, and I know that he made that decision because he wanted to go somewhere else. He's done all he could do. But he's going to learn a nasty lesson. This is what I'm saying right now to anyone who loves AEW. When I'm saying it myself, I still love AEW. I love Dynamite. I'm making it clear I'm not bashing them because it's easy to bash them. I'm saying it because I care. But as it comes to it right now, you look at Blood and Guts. That was a Vince McMahon booking. It makes no difference that the booking was good. It was a Vince McMahon booking. Short-term gain, long-term loss. He did that in the 2010s. He did in 2010, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18, then 19, until AEW appeared. And he couldn't do it the way he did before because not only the pandemic happened, but also AEW was eating his lunch when it came to NXT, which was pissing him off because he focused on NXT to get rid of them, and it didn't work. So that is what you got in AEW. Short-term gain, long-term loss. This is not meant to insult them. This is not meant to just, I want to shit on them because it's fun. I'm just saying it because it's the truth. And when it comes to Ace, he's going to learn that lesson. That all he's going to be doing is flash matches. That does not mean he's going to get the fairness he deserves, to be seen how good he is, and to do stories. Moving on. When you look at the System versus the Rascals, it was a good match. And it kind of goes for what Johnny Curtis wanted. Johnny started in 1999, guys. He started as a teenager. I don't know how old he is now. He's in his 40s at this point, easily. And I've always liked him. I always liked Fandango. When he was Breezango, when he was working with Tyler Breeze, I loved the comedy they were both producing on SmackDown back, 2016 to 17. That shit was gold. I loved it. Along with the New Day, messing with them, I loved it. And now, he's in TNA. He's done a good job when he was working with Alpha Bravo. And I'm telling you now, being with the System, I think this is the most fun he's had. And now he only has a few months left, and he'll retire in Genesis. My hope is, and this is me, Johnny Curtis may retire from in-ring work, but I'm hoping he stays with TNA. Be part of talent relations. Be part of creative. Been in the business long enough, he knows how it works. And that's what I'm hoping for him. That he legitimately does not leave TNA, that he transitions to a new job in the back. Like when it comes to Sami Callihan, he's not working anymore as a wrestler, at least not in TNA. I don't think he's doing it in Wrestling Revolver anymore. He's wrestling there. I don't think he's doing that. If he's not wrestling, period, anymore, and he's working in the back, no problem. Let Johnny work with him. Hell, let Johnny Curtis be a manager. He'll be a great manager. That's what I'm hoping for. And I'll keep saying this until he retires. The match was good. Seeing Desmond Xavier do his business. Admittedly, it was a little sloppy at certain points when they're supposed to be all four of them. I think, and it made it very clear, they've known each other for over at least 8 years or more. But they have not been in the same ring together, all four of them, in 5 years. Yes, Desmond has been with Wentz and he's been with Trey, but he's not been with let's make it very clear. With Myron there, I think they got a lot of work to do to try and get that chemistry to work, because it was a little sloppy on and off throughout the match. It doesn't mean it was bad work. It just means that all four of them together doing something together was a bit sloppy. It was. So I can say this as someone who loves the Rascals, and it's going to be off the chain when we see what's going to happen at the clubhouse. Well, it's not going to be that bad. But seeing all four of them in there and going and getting all, let's see how crazy they're going to act. I'm just saying it. And it was a good match that Johnny wanted. And I was fine with it. Now the match that I loved the most for the entire thing, that was the X-Division match. I think Rich Swann is in the best freaking shape of his life. He was pulling out moves that I don't think he's done since 2017. Because let's make it very clear. Before he went away to get cleaned up, because he was a mess, he went to rehab, he cleaned himself up, got himself cut. Boy is in great shape. He got himself cut. And let's make it very, very clear. The moves that he was pulling out, I have not seen him do since he was in the Cruiserweight Championships or the Classic. He hasn't done that in years. And you could tell he wanted to keep up with Leon Slater, so he pulled out the stops in this match. At one point, I am kind of worried that maybe, just maybe, Leon might have actually hurt his left eye, because when Rich chucked him over and he supposedly tried to land to make it look good, he might have actually, understand, he did put his hand right in front of the steps to try and protect himself, but even then, you got knuckles here. You see these knuckles? He could have actually nailed his own self with his own knuckles from his own hand. Because I don't think he was playing around with his eye. I think legitimately he might have hurt himself. Doesn't mean he might have broke anything, but when you get your eye like that, you get dizzy. And it takes a while for your eye to feel better. Hopefully he's not too hurt. But that was the best match I've seen Rich Swann do in years. Years, guys. If you could watch this show and this match, watch this match, because I think it's the best match that the show had. And then he showed some respect. You would think when he kicked away Leon's hand that he was going to stay in character of First Class. Nope. He pretty much gave him a hug, raised his hand, and showed some class as First Class. That's cool. I have no problem with that. It's alright once in a while to break character if it was a damn good match, which showcased them both, particularly with Rich coming back after over a year of having trouble. Thank you, Rich. Now, Order 4 versus the Carolina Boys. I'm saying that. I'm trademarking that. Trademarking the Hardys and Cedric Alexander as the Carolina Boys. I'm kind of hoping that someone picks up on it and let them work together, because Leon is by himself working with Devon Evans, and he said this after the match, talking about trying to get those let me give it like this. Do I believe that he could, with Devon Evans, get the NXT titles? Tag titles? Yes. I think they may go there. I think they may let Leon and Devon Evans get those tag titles. I think they will. But since he is working with Devon, he's not going to work with the Hardys much. So I would like to see Cedric Alexander work with the Hardys before he leaves and may go over to AEW and work with the Hurt Syndicate. I want to see the Carolina Boys work together. I want to see someone, please, somebody go to X and tell them, hey, I got an idea to Matt and Jeff. If you're going to work with Cedric more, either before the end of the year or the beginning of the next, call yourselves the Carolina Boys. What's wrong? You're both from North Carolina and Charlotte, North Carolina. What's the problem? What the problem is? Tell them. I don't do X. You guys, somebody might do it. Let's move on to the last match that had the biggest schmaz. The Dark State 2.0. Because that's how I feel it is. You got Nick Nimitz versus, Nick and Kaz versus Steve Macklin. They said most for the night that no one has heard from Mike Santana since this happened. Yes, and no one could heard from him. He was just gone silent. He ghosted everybody. And throughout most of the match, it was just Steve Macklin by himself. But then by near the end of the match, you see a car drive up, SUV drive up, and it is Santana with no shirt on, in his jeans, and looks like his wrestling socks, walking out, wrapping up, and then going to work and trying to sell the injury to his arm. Now, do I have a problem with that? No, I didn't have a problem with that type of booking, because that's happened more than a few times before. Everyone does repeat that kind of booking where one of the most loved people gets screwed, they disappear a little bit, then they come back by either coming into the arena or driving into the arena. That's not something that has been done before. The question was, after the match was over, because in the end, what did we get? Because I wrote on my notes. Because my thoughts were very really? I was seeing Kaz win. I saw Kaz win. And I'm was it Kaz who won? No. It wasn't Kaz who won. It was I believe Santana went over Kaz doing, I think it was spin the block. I think it was. I'm not sure. But he did win the match. He did win. Clutching his arm. But then when it was over and you see Nick pissed off that they didn't win the match, but he still sees to call your shot gauntlet cup right there, he decides, you know what? I might as well cash in. And then he tries to cash in. And then out of nowhere, everyone shows up. Jensen shows up. King shows up. Stone shows up. High Rise shows up. Everybody and their mama shows up. Everybody. Oh, that reminds me. To Leon Slater, your grand's passing away. I'm sorry. If he did see this, I don't think he ever see it. But anyone, if you don't know, Leon Slater's grandmother passed away recently. I think in the last couple of days or week. I don't know when. But she's passed away. You can give your condolences to him on X. Let him know we're with you. We love you. It hurts losing family. Just show him that you love him. But everybody and their mama shows up. And then you get the Hardys coming out that couldn't stop it. At first, it looked like maybe Kaz was involved in it. And he's holding off until he gets splashed and gets his ass kicked as well. And you still don't know how they got into the building because Ava said she brought in more security. Santino went and tried to get more security, which he did. And they got their asses handed to him. And then eventually, Jensen nails Santino in the back while Santino's talking to Stax, because he was there, saying, what are you doing? You're messing with my daughter. You're with my daughter. What are you doing? And he gets nailed. So now, what does this feel like to me? Dark State 2.0. Because the Dark State, let's make it very clear, the Dark State ran their course in TNA. They ran their course. They're done. And I felt like they could have had more mileage if they wrote it more correctly. I felt like either it was on NXT side, who wanted to rush it and get it over with, or TNA side, where they had to accommodate NXT and only make it as short as possible with what they could do with it. Dark State never felt important on NXT, but they felt more important on TNA. But then they rushed it, or they just didn't want to do long-term booking because they weren't allowed to, or they were incompetent in doing it. Now, what do we get? We get a whole smosh. Now, I'm not saying that this Dark State 2.0 is going to last long because this is about Gold Rush. We're going to see matches from TNA and NXT on both nights. But if it's not ending and we keep seeing the same guys attacking, the question's going to be, who are they going to blame? Are they going to blame Eric Young? Are they going to blame Kaz when he's already got his ass kicked? And Matthew Winroll made it very clear, Frank Kazarian has his moments, but hey, he's still TNA. He's unscrupulous. He doesn't care, but he still bleeds TNA. Are you going to say that this is from Trick Williams? Are you going to say this from Ava? Or someone entirely different that we have not seen? I don't know. As I said, short-term gain, but will it give a long-term gain? That's more important. Right now, TNA needs something to grab people. Particularly, we're nearing the end. They're going to be finishing up their taping soon. By the beginning of December, they're going to do maybe 1 or 2 more tapings, maybe 3. That's going to cover for they already done the tapings for December. The next taping is going to be for January. Depending on when they finally start coming back again, whatever they make in December is what we're going to watch. So it better be good. But this is just me, and I hope you enjoyed this Turning Point review. Please give me a comment below. I don't know if this is good or not. This is still up in the air. Peace.